Hi everybody, this is a tutorial on how to make a messy head wrap bow. For your supplies, you're gonna need a piece of fabric. This is a 6-inch wide piece of bullet fabric. It needs to be pretty stretchy. This is usually my choice fabric for bows. You're also gonna need a device for cutting. I like to use my rotary blade, but you could definitely use scissors if that's what you have lying around. You're also gonna need a bow board. Mine is for 3 to 24 months, so it is 7.5 inches wide. If you don't have a wooden board around, you can also use cardboard, which is what I had previously used before getting my boards. This is just a piece of cardboard that is wrapped in cardboard paper. Lastly, you'll need some elastics. I used these I got from Amazon. If you don't have any elastics like this, you can use whatever kind of rubber band or elastic you have lying around. We're gonna start by unfolding our fabric. If you have a fabric with a print on it where the direction matters, like this one does, make sure that your fabric is facing the correct direction so that your cowls are not upside down. Okay, to start your bow, you're gonna place your fabric face down. You're gonna grab your cutting device. You can use scissors if you'd like, but I'm using my rotary blade, and you're just gonna cut off these 2 corners. Be careful, you don't wanna cut too deep, only about 2 to 2.5 inches. From here, we're gonna start folding. Since this is a 6-inch wide fabric, we're gonna fold over 6 inches 4 times. This is gonna be our first fold. And then I'm gonna move it back over just so you guys can see it in camera. This is gonna be our second fold here, and remember, just another 6 inches. And if I was doing a normal bow, this is typically where I would stop, but since we're doing a messy bow, remember we're doing it 4 times. So this will be our third fold. And then finally, we're gonna go ahead and do our 4th fold, and just make sure that all of these folds are staying together so that every piece is a 6-inch fold. This is gonna be where that elastic comes in. We're just gonna need 1, and what we're gonna do with this is we're gonna pinch upwards. Typically, I say for a bow, you would need 1 pinch per inch, so it'd be 6 pinches, but since this is a messy bow, it's a little thicker, we may only get about 5 inches out of this one. And it is completely fine to pinch your bow however you like. This is just how I do it, but if you would like to use both of your hands and pinch from the top and the bottom at the same time, it does make it a little easier on these thicker bows to get all of your pinches in to make that accordion. Once you've got your pinches, you're gonna take your elastic and you're gonna wrap it around just a few times, just enough so that it holds your fabric together well. I like to do some adjusting with my elastic and just make sure that it's centered on my bow. Now we're gonna go ahead and lay that bow down flat again. This is where we're gonna grab our bow board. Again, mine is 7.5 inches for a 3 to 24 month. But you can use whatever size board you need or whatever your board is made out of. You're gonna place your board right on your fabric, just a little past your bow. We're gonna take our bow and we're gonna bring it over the board. Your bow should be about centered on your board. You're then gonna grab the other side of the fabric and bring that over the bow. You're gonna pinch this fabric up just so it creates that accordion style like the other side of the bow has. It just makes for a neater bow. I'm then gonna grab my bow. I like to secure it between my index finger and my middle finger like so. And I'm gonna bring that fabric around the back. It's gonna go under the left side of the bow, but over the head wrap portion. And then I'm gonna tuck it underneath the head wrap of the bow. This is what's gonna make that tied portion of the bow. You're gonna wanna pull your fabric and your bow to kind of form that tie on the board. This is gonna make that head wrap a little tight and hold it together. Now we're gonna fold over the raw edges of the center of our bow. This just makes for a nicer and neater center. You can do this however you'd like, how thick you like, how thin you like. It's all up to preference and how you like your bows to look. Some like for your bows to look a little messy. I prefer a neater, tighter looking center. For the next part, I'm gonna take my middle finger and my index finger and I'm gonna bring it underneath the bow. So I'm basically holding on to the left side of the bow, and my middle and my index finger are just gonna be hanging on underneath. We're gonna take that fabric and we're gonna push it through our middle and index knuckles. So keeping your fingers there, it's gonna help keep a hole so that you can easily pull that fabric through the front of the knot. So you're just gonna push that fabric all the way through until you see it in the front, and then you're gonna pull it all the way through. You're gonna wanna pull this tight, not too tight because we're gonna do a little bit of adjusting and make our messy bow before we perfectly tighten this bow. To tighten, I just hold the bow like this and just pull that so that the center is tight. Now, after a little adjusting, we're gonna turn this into the messy bow it's meant to be. For the messy bow, I'm going to be pulling the inside of this left bow out the bottom. And then on the right side, I'm going to be pulling the inside out the top. And this is going to create that flare, messy look of the messy bows. You're just going to want to mess around with it here until you really get the look that you want. Once you've got the messy look you're looking for, we're going to go ahead and pull this headband tight. This is going to help secure this bow in place. I like to take one hand on each side of the head wrap and just pull. This makes that knot really small so it doesn't leave as much of an indentation on the baby's head, and it also just gives a little bit of room on the head wrap so that it's not so tight on the baby's head. Lastly, grab your scissors or your rotary blade and just go ahead and cut off that excess fabric, and you're good to go. Congrats, you just made a messy head wrap bow. Comment below if this tutorial was helpful for you, or if you have any tutorials you'd like to see me do in the future.